Okay, this is my first question. Both of you are highly successful and well-established artists in Australia. You came to Australia in the late 1980s and early 1990s, respectively. But you came under rather different circumstances and had very different experiences in the early periods. Guan Wei, while in Beijing, got to know a bunch of foreigners, Lao Wan, including Australian diplomats Nicholas Jose and Jeff Ray Jerry. So Guan Wei got an invitation and came all the way to Tasmania. That's where he started as an artist in residence at the University of Tasmania. And he became straight away a full-time artist.沈嘉蔚, on the other hand, was a well-known artist already in China, but he decided to give it all up and came to Australia to be a language student. So he had to first make his living by drawing portraits at Darling Harbour. In those years, some of you may have seen Shen Jiawei there. So as we know, our past experiences have made what we are today. Okay, now my question first to Shen Laoshi. Can you tell us how your early years of experiences influence your life and art?
我呢在达林港，在达林哈伯画了几千张的这个肖像，托里斯特的肖像，这个呢帮助我这个成为一个名副其实的肖像画家。那么这个呢既帮助我解决了这个生存的问题，那么也在后来给我supporting 我的这个从事纯粹的非盈利的这个巨幅的历史化的这些项目提供了资金来源。那么因为呢我呢这个一直不能申请到 Australia Council 的任何的资助，所以我必须要自己来筹备这个资金，这个问题都被我解决了，所以我也感到很自豪。
By drawing several thousands of portraits of tourists at Darling Harbour, not only provided with me of my living, but also made me qualified portrait painter. And also that has provided resources for me later on to create my epic artworks. Because, read between lines, because I have never got the grants from Australian Council, so I have to self-fund myself. And all these years I have done so I'm very proud of my achievement. Now, Guan Wei, can you tell us how you adapted to the life and society of Australia when you first came?
I think I'm very lucky because when I came to Australia, I was in the art in residence in the university, in the MCA, and I don't need to make portrait, in Darling Harbour because they gave me the flight, they gave me the studio, color, little money, and that's why I can, continue to create my works. And also, I'm very lucky. I got nearly 10 times the grant from the Australian Art Council, and it's very interesting because I was Jia Wei, one of the latest critics read an article, just a comparison with two persons. Because they're talking, Jia Wei is famous in China. When I was in China, because we have 10 years gap. He's an old generation.
Oh, you don't need to tell us that.
That's why I'm amused. When I was learning the art, I just looking Jia Wei like this way. Yeah, I'm very proud of looking him because he's so very good technique. And but when he came to Australia, he in the outside of the system. But in China, I was under the ground. But I came to Australia, I became in the system. This is very interesting. That this can be read some the doctor lyrics.
Theory, yes.
All the street artists, we call ourselves the 盲流。
Oh.
Yeah, in China we call it 盲流 artist.
Yes, it's like a migrant. Yeah.
But in Australia, yeah, we became the mainstream.
It is very interesting what you said, and it does deserve a PhD thesis. So anyone interested, and that's the topic. That's really good. And then my next question, how would you like to be called? Chinese artist in Australia, Chinese Australian artist, or Australian artist, and why? 沈老师. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because since I just first arrived to Australia, I continue to use my old way to create my work. Many Chinese elements, the background in my work, like Chinese character, acupuncture, and something they looking out in the Chinese artists. But I very quickly to change my ideas and conceptuals because I'm looking for Australian audience. That's why my work is follow the Western style, like I'm interested in the Eastern and the Westerns, firstly. Later I change to the interesting for the environmental things in my works. That's why when I developed my work, title is changed. Before like Chinese artist, later like Chinese Australian Chinese, and later I represent the Australian, drawing many like international triennial biennales. That's why they go, oh, you represent Australia, is like Australian artist. Yeah, this is my work name change. Okay, yeah.
Very interesting. And 沈老师, yeah.
首先呢，我呢是出生在中国，父母都是中国人。那么我在来澳之前已经在中国生活了40年，浸透了这个中国文化。所以呢，我想呢，到死呢，我都是一个中国人。第二呢，我呢成为一个澳大利亚的公民已经有25年了，所以呢，我也认为我是一个100%的澳大利亚人，而不是加上一个定语啊。这个我认为所谓的Chinese Australian， 这个意义只有在这个人口普查的时候才有意义。第三点呢，我呢是一个艺术家，既不是中国艺术家，也不是澳大利亚艺术家，因为呢，艺术是没有国界的，艺术家是没有祖国的，或者可以说呢，我是一个属于人类的世界的艺术家。
Okay, let me interpret it first because that's not fair to people who don't understand Chinese. So wait, what沈嘉蔚said, 3 points. First of all, he has lived in China for 40 years and his parents are full-blood Chinese. And he soaked up all Chinese culture before he came here. So until he died, he will be Chinese. And second point is he has been Australian citizen for 25 years. So he sees himself as a fully fledged Australian. And Chinese Australian is only reflected when census is conducted. Third point is, as an artist, he doesn't think himself is an Australian artist or Chinese Australian artist or Chinese artist, because art has no border and art belongs to the world. So he sees himself as an artist of the world. Very good answer, both of you. Okay, now you can applaud. Thank you. And my third question, what did you learn in China and take it with you to Australia as an artist? 沈老师。
我在中国的40年里面，通过自我教育和大学进修，掌握了完善的绘画技巧和丰富的历史知识。他们呢，帮助我在澳大利亚继续我的艺术家生涯。
Having lived in China for 40 years, through self-education and tertiary education, I have mastered comprehensive painting art technique and also historical knowledge. And all this I have taken it with me to continue my artistic creation career in Australia. Okay, 关老师。
我也说中文了。
Now he gets envious. He wants to speak Chinese as well.
It's a little bit hard. 因为那个在中国啊，我学会了一个什么呢？就学会了一个对这种社会和政治一种这个敏感。 哎，你比如看了一个报纸，哎，林彪好几天没出现吧，所以他就可能会出事儿。这样的话呢，就是说呢，在我的艺术里边呢，就是说很敏感表现的东西，但不直着说，得藏起来。藏起说正好符合这艺术的特点，因为你直着说就没有趣味了。哎，你这个变化的时候，所以我就在这儿讲究自身的这个特征，对什么事情很敏感，然后呢，转着弯的在我艺术上表现，这是我的一个本事。
That's very interesting what he said. He said living in China, he has learned one very particular skill, which is become very sensitive to pick up political information. For example, Lin Biao, who used to be the deputy vice president, and he disappeared from public and from a newspaper, and then everyone would know something wrong, something had happened to him. So having developed that sensitivity is actually critical for artistic creation, because art is, you do not say your messages straight away, you say veiled message. So you're going round and round to tell the message. So that's the skill he has developed in China, and then he has used it very well in his own art. So art never give messages straight away. So that's very interesting. I didn't expect that. It's really interesting. My next question, can you list 2 things in Australia that have had a big impact on your artistic creation? And we're talking about Australia now.
Okay, for me, I think firstly is environmental. You know, I was in Beijing. You know, it's gray colors and quite dark. You know, the environmental. But since I arrived to Australia, you know, blue sky and beautiful waters, and yeah, my work has big change. You know, the environmental gave me so strong. And secondly, I think Australian society, Australian people, and gave me also very strong influence, because Australian people is very friendly, very honestly, and very tolerant. You know, that's why I opened my eyes, looking whole of the world, and yeah, before my focus just focused on one thing, but now I'm looking many different can be in my art, in my works.
You can see he's a very idealistic artist. I'm sure there are dishonest Australians around. Anyway, that's a very good answer, 沈老师。
还有是强烈。我在来澳的这个第6年，就是1995年的时候，赢得了 Mary McGillop Art Award，是第1名，所以呢，受到罗马教皇的接见和授予金牌。但是呢，当时所有主流的英文媒体都在不得不做出的评论里面给了我负面的批评，甚至呢，由于这个 John McDonald 的这个给我的这个很差的评价呢，导致了悉尼晨风报在第1版就没有报道教皇接见我的新闻，别的报纸都放在头版。那么我当时很心平气和啊，得了奖还是很开心的。所以呢，我就想为什么呢？最后我就明白了，我想呢，因为我当时的得奖的作品啊，我故意的模仿了澳大利亚画家在19世纪，这个维多利亚时代的那种风格，被误解了，被误会了。那么当然我也花了1年时间，很认真的去学习补课这个后现代主义的这些理论。那么2年以后呢？我的这个阿奇鲍尔的画呢，就得了很高的评价，就是 runner-up， 就是第2。那么这个还是这个 John McDonald 的第1个就看清楚了我的当代意识，所以在他的评论里给了我非常高的评价，而且从此以后他一直是我的知音。我呢，在澳大利亚的第2位知音呢是4A 画廊的创始人玛丽莎丘，他呢在得知我在文革时代的成名作应邀在那个纽约的 Guggenheim Museum 展出以后呢，就邀请我在4A 画廊举办了回顾展。开幕以后有5份主流的英文大报呢都有长篇的review 评论，就不再有嘲讽。
6 years after I arrived in Australia in 1995, won the St. Mary Calalopa Award and actually was in the audience of a Pope and received a medal from the Pope. However, there were a lot of negative or critical review of my getting award. And John McDonnell, the art critic, his very negative review actually made Sydney Morning Herald refuse to publish the news of me receiving the medal from Pope as a front page news. So I sat down and did some reflection. And I think I realized that because I deliberately imitate the 19th century Victorian style to do the painting, and which misled art critic. So in 2 years, and then I soaked up lots of theory, postmodernist theory about the art. And then 2 years later, I actually became run-up. My painter got the run-up of Archibald Prize. And this time, John McDonnell actually was the first one who recognized my achievement, and he praised me very highly. And that obviously led to lots of great news stories in the mainstream media. And John McDonnell actually became a great friend of mine who knew my work really well. The other person who has known my work very well is Melissa True, the founder of the A4 Gallery. And when she saw my exhibition at Guggenheim Museum, she decided to do a retro exhibition of my show at A4 Gallery, which was a great success and won articles, great reviews from 5 mainstream English newspapers. And ever since, I have not received any sarcastic review of my artwork. Very good, it's really good. It's enlightening to hear your answers. And now my next important question is to Shen Laoshi first. Shen Laoshi, you have been a great portrait artist and you have done many brilliant portraits of historical figures as well. Is that because you love portrait painting and history so much that you devote yourself to the art, to that particular art form, or is it because you just couldn't do other art forms?
我的回答呢是这个艺术家呢不是杂技演员，他不能表现很多不同的这个节目啊。绝大多数的艺术家呢要用毕生的精力了来打磨他的使用的技巧，除非呢他是像毕卡索那样的天才，我呢是属于这个极大多数的之一。除去那个真心喜欢和享受其中的乐趣之外呢，我也冷静地估计了老天爷赐给我的有限的才华，正好是捕捉人脸那种敏感。与此同时呢，因为我早年的不顺，使我失去了接受这个完整艺术教育的机会，所以呢，我的这个表达手段是很有限的。这也只能是我是只能做到一花独放。
That's very, very good answer. To me, artist is not acrobatic performer, and I think most artists have to devote their life to get refined in one particular art form, except unless you are a genius like a Picasso. I'm just one of those most artists. So through my early childhood misfortunes, I didn't get comprehensive, art education. And also I have quickly realized that I have a talent which is to capture facial expressions so well. And so I decided this is my field this is the art form that I will devote to myself. So I also recognize that I have limitations, and so I decide that I think thriving in one thing only, would be the way that I would go. So very humble answer, and it's really nice. Okay, Guan Laoshi, you've been a multimedia artist, including painting, sculpture, installation, and lately video. Apart from your famous transformation of self-portrait, you seldom paint portraits. Is that because you know that you just couldn't beat Shen Jiawei?
Yeah, he is very good technique. Yeah, 我望尘莫及。And yeah, for the different artists has a different the wheels, like Jiawei, just interesting for the portrait, for the face, interesting face. And for myself, I like do many different things, try to like video and sculpture and installation. And sometimes I just feel, the 2D's work that can be to create your feelings on this. I need more space, like I did in the MCA, I did big murals, it's a huge, also in the Powerhouse Museum, like another history. I make a big 99 murals, also including many文物 and yeah, like fake museum. And yeah, I try like something very, but 我始终艺术家还是喜欢这种，就是这种崇拜这种很棒的这个 technique 的，因为我没这技术，我只能做 installation。
Last bit, he says, as artists, I always admire those artists who have superb techniques like Shen Jiawei, and I don't have that, so that's why I ended up doing installations instead. Again, it's a very humble answer. That's great. I have a few quick questions, and then you come up with the quick answers. This one is a personal question, and you can choose not to answer. Are you friends with each other? What do you like about each other's art? Guan Wei first.
我们是很好的朋友，但我们这朋友属于是那种君子淡如水的朋友啊，是相互守望。我很关注他做什么做的。酒肉啊，对，不是那种酒肉。对，因为我们很少在一起吃吃喝喝的，但在艺术上我很尊重他，很关注他，他做的东西我一直都是特别欣赏的。因为我是搞当代，他是搞那种比较偏这个 classical 的，但是我就欣赏他的这种精神，是吧？而且他有很大的那种抱负和野心嘛，是吧？做那个特别超达型的那种，这也是我非常欣赏的啊。所以我觉得我们这个朋友应该是那种比较就是淡如水的那种，但是对艺术上是非常关注的这样这种形式的啊。
Yeah. That's it. Yes, we've been friends, but we're not drinking buddies. We are friends like having not always been together, but we really look out for each other, and also I very admire his work and his creation from a distance. We don't always get together, have a food and etc. And what I do is contemporary art, and I know Shen Jiawei involves more classic or historical, and also very ambitious. So to me, and I quite appreciate what he's been doing, and I think it's great that he has that spirit of carrying on doing this big ambitious work.
我们是30年的朋友，带来一个 evidence。
We are friends for 30 years, and this is the evidence.
This is the first exhibition, it's Chinese artists exhibition in Australia, I think. The curator is Mabel Lee. Okay. Archibald is your assistant. And so Guan Wei and me, we both we knew each other at that time. And about that, but about the art, 我用中文。至于艺术呢，可能韩静不知道，艺术家聚会的时候彼此几乎不谈艺术。为什么呢？因为艺术家避免雷同，各有各的方向，所以就不谈。不过呢，我也可以说一句，我对关伟作为一个当代主义艺术家，至今仍以架上绘画作为他的基本创作载体，表示我深深的敬意。
Yes, we've been friends for 30 years, and but as you may not know that artists, when they meet, get together, they don't talk about art. They avoid duplicates, talking about the same things. Of course, Guan Wei is a contemporary artist. And what I admire most about him is to today he's still using easel to create his art, which I think it is most admirable. Okay, next question. Let me test how much you know about each other. Guan 老师, how many times has Shen Jiawei been the Archibald finalist?
I think 9 times.
Is that correct? No, so you don't know Shen Jiawei. Okay, you failed. And Shen 老师, how many solo exhibitions has Guan Wei held?
I'm very lucky. Just this morning I see from his interview, and he said he's 76.
Wow, that's cheating. That's cheating. Is that correct? 76. All right. Shen Jiawei won. Okay. And the next question, and would you like to swap with each other? If yes, why? And if not, why not? 关老师 first.
你要告诉我喜欢变成嘉伟，我能有那么好的技术，然后能画教皇跟教皇握手，是吧？还能够画我们那漂亮的公主，这是我们塔斯马尼亚人的，是吧？因为我是塔斯马尼亚塔斯人，所以我当然喜欢这样。
I would like to swap to be Shen Jiawei because then I have a superb technique, and I shake hands with the Pope, and I can paint beautiful Princess Mary. Mary actually came from Tessie, where I came from. So yes, I would like to be Shen Jiawei. Now Shen Jiawei's turn.
我是很想跟关伟对调啊，可是呢，刘品会跳起来吼道：“什么？你太矮了！”
I would love to swap with Guan Wei, but I'm sure his wife Liu Ping would shout, "What? You are too short." Okay, and last question. The second last question, quick one. If you have to choose one city to live in, which one? Yes, is it Guan Wei first?
London.
Okay.
Still Sydney.
Still Sydney. Guan Wei, you don't have loyalty to Australia.
London is Sydney's mother.
Okay, last question. Are you happy with what you have achieved, or do you have a bigger ambitions? Which one? Who do you want? Who would like to go first?
我的野心马上就要实现了，明年。
Yes, I do have a big ambition, and my big ambition is going to be realized next year. So we will wait and see.
我的野心是做到100个个展。
Oh, okay. My ambition is to hold 100 solo exhibitions. 23 to go. Okay. Wow. Congratulations. Thank you, Shen Jiawei. Thank you, Guan Wei, for your wonderful answers. It's a great conversation. Thank you so much.